So Jason Blake here, the Medicare Geek. My goal is to help my clients who are Medicare members succeed with their coverage, and also to help Medicare agents who are working on marketing Medicare plans get to 500 members or more. So I want to talk to you about branding, not handwriting. So to succeed in this business, you should not consider yourself a person or insurance agent who sells Medicare plans to individuals. Instead, to succeed at Medicare Advantage marketing, you need to consider yourself the Medicare expert for anyone you come in contact with. Now, this doesn't mean that you misrepresent yourself and indicate that somehow you work for Medicare. It also doesn't mean that you step into the provider side, because accessing Medicare from a consumer versus a provider side is very, very different. Very different experience for consumers, very different experience for providers. And providers, doctors, lab techs, surgeons, all those people, they're provider service people to deal with those. Your job as an agent is to be the go-to person for the consumer. And there's a few things about that as an independent agent. You need to get all the contracts that you can. Some companies will offer you a captive agent arrangement, usually like the big plans. Humana has employee agents where they get an annual salary, but then they make a much less reduced commission. United Healthcare has what they call captive agents, who are people that can only write and market United Healthcare products. Other companies have similar things. But to really be credible as a Medicare expert in your community, you need to get every contract that you can, and you need to be knowledgeable about the ones that you're not able to get, and continue to work toward being able to represent those. The actual Medicare guideline is that you point people in the direction of the plan that is best for their interests, whether or not it is a plan that you actually market, can make commission from. And this holds power down the line. I've got probably at least 100 people that I've met with, and then after we did a needs analysis, realized that either what they had was perfect for them, or they should stick with whatever they had. The last thing they should do is sign up for a plan with me. I get just as many referrals from the people who are not my members as the people who are, because I've told them the truth and been their advocate. The other thing, you have to learn. You have to be committed to learning, because there's a lot of detail with Medicare. I still learn things every day in this business. You also have to be committed. A couple questions. If you're somebody who's already working in this business, do you know what the 2018 Part B deductible is? I bet you don't. It's $183. Do you know how many nights are covered in skilled nursing from Medicare? Most agents don't. It can be up to 100 before somebody has to be moved out of skilled nursing, or they have to have it paid for by cash or long-term care insurance or Medicaid. There's so many facets to elder care and Medicare, and it's not something you master overnight, but it does need to be something that you're committed to learning as much as you can, as quickly as you can, and then continuing to learn something. When you hit an area that's an unknown, you don't roll over and say, well, let somebody else deal with that, or let them call customer service. You actually get online, you Google, you do whatever training modules you need to, because you are going back to branding yourself as a Medicare expert. Well, the only way you'll be an expert is if you commit to this over a lifetime. You have to be consistent. I've met at least half a dozen agents who specialize in Medicare who tell me they really can't get that many people in their book, or they lost so many members last year. And these are people who maybe one open enrollment decide, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to take a vacation in the middle of October because my family wants to go. If you are somebody who's a professional in this business, you're working it all year long. That means Lockin, which is all the time. It's not open enrollment. It's from December 8th all the way until October 14th. And then AEP, open enrollment, which is December 15th to 12/7. I usually work 7 days a week during that time. You need to be consistent, and then lastly, you need to be visible. If you want to brand yourself as the Medicare person in your community, you need to be doing everything you can. You should first be volunteering in the community, finding things that interest you, doing things that help you and your family and your community so that people know what you do and how to find you. If you can do retail places, there are retail agreements that Humana and United Healthcare have, both with Walmart. Safeway has a contract with United Healthcare. You can go to your most popular little mom and pop pharmacy and ask them if you can set up a booth that says questions about Medicare and work those things compliantly. And then there's all kinds of opportunities too. You can give Rotary presentations about Medicare 101, the basics of Medicare. You can ask the major companies in your marketplace if they need seminar presenters so that you can be the face of that plan in your community, and you can do the meetings that they have during open enrollment, inviting people to become members. These are the biggest things that will help you get from 0 to 500 and growing members as quickly as possible. And they can take a lot of different forms, but these are the basics. Every contract you can, that way you can be really an unbiased source. If you only have 1 or 2 contracts, you've all heard the old saying, if the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. You want to have a whole toolbox so that you can look with clarity and tell your member that based on what you've told them and what they've shared with you, you can point them in the direction of the plan setup that you think is in their highest and best interest, and combine that with whatever will help them sleep the best at night. You need to start to learn the basics of Medicare because there's a lot. That starts in your AHIP training. If you don't know what AHIP training is, you'll see it in the video on becoming a Medicare agent. You need to be consistent because nobody wants somebody in charge of or as a reference point for their health care that doesn't return their phone calls, that they don't see in town, that they can't get in touch with when they have a question. And you need to keep working until you get to that 500 or more, and you need to be visible. If you're, going from appointment to appointment, hoping the phone rings and not getting out in your community, not doing retail time, not doing presentations, then you're not doing the types of things that are going to help you brand yourself as the Medicare expert for your community. The other reason it's valuable to do this is because most Medicare plans are at least state, if not county and zip code based. And so what this means is the details of the plans that are available, they're very specific to your area. So somebody can be in a call center and they can see a spreadsheet with the benefits, but that doesn't translate to having somebody on the ground who knows the plans, who knows the benefits, who knows the providers, the primary care physicians, the pharmacies that their members are going to, who knows the customer service questions that come up consistently and can answer those. Those are all part of what will help brand you as being a Medicare expert. And when you do this, I call myself the Medicare geek. When you become whatever Medicare expert you are in your community, you will never have to fight to get business. People will flock to you. I now get an average of 10 to 30 blind referrals a month because people know that if they have any question about the consumer side of Medicare, they can come to me. I've only been marketing this business since late in 2009, and the first 3 years I was very part-time in it. So this is something that I've gotten a decent amount of expertise in a relatively short amount of time when you compare it to other careers and the earning capacity in it. So if you like people, if you want people to stay healthy, if you want to get income for you and your family, and you want to do something really valuable in your community, I recommend that you think about becoming a Medicare expert. And just because people wonder, like, is there an opportunity here? This is the baby boomer generation. So in the United States alone, every day, 10,000 people turn 65. And that will continue until 2029. So if you wonder there's an opportunity, 10,000 people a day in the US are turning 65. There are not enough agents working with Medicare products already. And I bet you most of those people are gonna want health care in some form or fashion for the golden years of their life. That's the basics on becoming the Medicare geek for me and the Medicare expert, however it is for you. If you have questions, email me at jason@themedicaregeek.com, and I will get back to you within a week.